Welcome to Florida Men on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron, the podcast where Floridians discuss the legends, lore, and crazy stories that always seem to take place in Florida. Wow, guys. Hey, how are you? 122.
Very good. I can hear a lot better with the headphones on. Thanks for turning me up.
Now, I want to say this was the second time we did the intro tonight because as I was doing the intro the first time, Josh was talking as if nothing was happening.
He didn't know we were recording.
Missing a key ingredient, a.k.a. my headphones.
Right.
And do you want to say what you were saying?
I was saying I'm not doing the hump part in the Harlem Shake video.
Okay. So what happened right before we went live? We were talking about the Harlem Shake with our live streamers on Patreon. God bless you guys. We love you. And Josh says, do you remember the Harlem Shake? Cameron and I did a dance that
we shook.
Well, you did like a...
We shook it.
I thought we shook it, but my thing is like, I felt like it wasn't, I knew in my spirit it wasn't correct. And what Josh was trying to say was, I can do it, but not the hump part.
Yeah, I don't want to be designated as the humper.
Right, which you have been in the past.
God, so
and once
times.
you get labeled that, it's hard to shake it.
It is hard to shake
It's hard to
it.
Harlem Shake it.
Amen.
This guy.
Take me to headlines, baby.
Let's do it. Okay, headline.
Hello.
So our first one is about a Florida woman pretending to be a plastic surgeon.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I was wondering what word was going to be after plastic that was going to make sense.
Yeah.
Plastic surgeon. And so she was arrested from a bad nose surgery. So our victim...
Okay. Hold on.
What?
She was able to perform on somebody?
Yes.
She did
I
the
don't know.
nose surgery.
I don't know the story. I'm
and
asking.
then went to jail.
Well, if you'll let me tell it, you'll figure it out. All right. So our victim went to the Millennium Anti-Aging and Surgery Center.
Okay.
And went there for a nose job. Or my new word that I learned today is rhinoplasty surgery.
All you have to do is ask me. Rhinoplasty.
You know what rhinoplasty
Yeah,
is.
it's a nose job.
Yeah.
Right. And so the victim went in for said nose job, had this nose job surgery performed, and then over the next couple months realized it didn't seem to be healing well. Okay?
Her nose was wiggling.
It
too much
was
wiggle.
moving on its own accord. And so they said it seemed disfigured. It wasn't healing how they were told it would
She said
heal.
she looked like an Owen brother.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know the reference.
And so the victim went back to this place, this anti-aging and surgery center.
Right.
Do you go back?
And got a second
Oh
surgery.
my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Okay, this is the person performing this surgery is 56-year-old Jimenez de Rodriguez.
Okay.
And she did not have a medical license or any kind of license to be able to do plastic surgery, but she did 2 surgeries on this same patient / victim. And so after the second time the victim went home,
Same
thing, couple months, man, this does not seem to be working. So they filed a bunch of complaints, went to the state. And then like Better Business Bureau went through all these different angles, and eventually they came and arrested Jimenez during surgery.
Nice.
Doing another plastic surgery.
Oh my
and
gosh.
was arrested mid-surgery.
Here's the whoa.
Which is
That rocks
terrifying.
your confidence.
To go in and say, okay, listen, my nose doesn't seem right, so I'm going to pay somebody and trust somebody to make it look better. And then you find out that this person has no license or training to be able to do this. I don't even know how you get into that business without having a medical license or
Watch
training.
a lot of YouTube videos, probably.
They did it
That's
wrong.
the worst kind of YouTube videos to watch.
She did it wrong twice.
Right.
She messed up that person's nose twice.
The same nose.
It's like you go in for something, an elective surgery, and then now you're called a victim. which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And then what about the poor person on the table who was mid-surgery?
Yeah.
And then,
well, they're
and then
probably
you
better
wake
off,
up,
honestly.
Yeah, but then you wake up and their nose never got put back on because
God,
the
that's not how
surgeon
it
went to
works.
prison.
Right, it was still
remove
laying
the nose.
I don't
still
know.
laying on the table.
That's why I'm not a rhinoplastic surgery.
That's true.
Exactly. Jimenez was being held on $5,000 bond. Charged with practicing medicine without a license and resisting arrest without violence, because when they came to arrest her during surgery, she pulled her arm away.
Well, she shot a finished surgery.
Right. She's like, can I at least put the nose back on? They said no.
Yeah.
And so
Passionate.
the charge was elevated to a second-degree felony because of the victim's disfigurement.
Oh, ouchie. Yikes.
And grand theft because she took the nose with her.
She
Right.
did.
I'm sure somebody
I've
can
got
fix it,
nothing
though.
to say about this
If you go
story.
to a licensed rhinoplasty person, they'll be able to fix it.
Do you check the license of your doctors when you go?
Oh,
No,
I
but that's
don't.
okay. The only reason that they found out that she didn't have a license was because he requested her ID number or medical number or whatever, license number, to be able to give to the state
Yeah,
and
put
to
her
be
in
able to
the
file.
bad file.
And they just didn't have one. So
That is insane.
You got to make it up, right?
yeah, you
mean, if
just
you're
give
going
them
that far,
7
just
numbers.
give them
Yeah,
That's
they
fine.
call and she's like, listen, my nose fell off again. This
Oh,
is the second time. I would like to go to the state. I need your medical number,
Done.
your license number.
I'm sorry.
And Jimenez is like, okay, you got a pen? Yeah,
Right.
17.
Exactly.
21.
Yeah, and so
14.
she calls and it's just like, it's her birthday.
All right. So our next headline, we have 2 Florida men.
Nice.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
who get in a little tussle.
Okay.
All right. So the tussle was because one of the let's say he's the victim. Let's call him the victim.
Okay.
The victim was walking his dog, and his
Oh,
dog
no.
urinated on the mailbox of Thomas Edgar, 76 years old, during this walk. So
Right.
the dog peed on the guy's mailbox. Well,
Is
Thomas,
his mailbox made of paper mache?
I doubt it.
Ruined the whole thing.
But Thomas was very upset by this, so he approached the victim with a piece of wood. Okay, it started swinging at him. Saying, "Why are you letting your dog, pee on my mailbox?" And obviously, he was upset enough about that to he ended up tackling our victim, punching him in the face, causing bruising and discoloration. The 2 men were, this is another resident said, the 2 men continued to roll on the ground, fighting until another resident separated the 2.
Wow.
Which is weird, because if you're 76 years old,
Yeah.
I feel like you try to stay away from fights at all costs, and especially don't try to get into fights about a little bit of dog urine on your mailbox.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
How would he have known if he wasn't being a nosy neighbor and staring out the window?
That's
well, I mean, it is his
everybody?
house, though. I mean,
I know, but I'm saying, would you know every time a dog pees on your mailbox?
oh,
I hope
yeah,
not.
I've got a sensor on mine.
Oh,
Well, mine's made of
right.
cotton candy, so it loses a layer every time.
Yeah, that's why you never get my letters.
It's like,
All right, our next one is about a Florida woman who was mad about a breakup.
Okay.
who isn't?
Love hurts, right?
man.
So this woman and her long-term boyfriend, they decided to break up. The article says that they decided to break up together.
Mutual is always best.
Right. And so anyways, I guess they didn't really figure out the whole "are we dating somebody else" kind of thing. So the woman was upset with the ex-boyfriend. Ended up taking a hammer to him. Hit him across the face with it.
Okay.
Also hit the windshield of his car
That's
with the
called
hammer.
rhinoplasty.
Right. Well, he's going to need rhinoplasty for sure.
I'm unlicensed.
Right.
Right. So hit the boyfriend with the hammer, hit the car windshield with the hammer, punctured the vehicle's tires, then vandalized the car by smearing barbecue sauce and
Smearing?
whipped cream all on it.
It's another type of barbecue sauce.
Which is weird. Like, I don't know how you get a hammer and whipped cream in the same spot. Like,
Well, the smearing is what I'm more
Yeah,
concerned
can we go
about.
back to the smearing?
smearing.
You can smear something. That's an open palm.
Right. A smear is when your nails are on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Barbecue and whipped cream?
Barbecue sauce and whipped cream.
Now,
Sounds
that wasn't
delicious.
planned. Those two things never
You
go
don't think
together.
so?
Right.
Yeah.
So the woman was upset also because when she got to the apartment, that they used to share, the ex-boyfriend was putting all of her stuff in the yard. So that upset her. She's throwing eggs at the guy.
Obviously, he didn't empty the fridge.
There's a lot of food involved.
She's emptying the fridge. Dude. She is going at it.
And so the article says
Good for
that the ex-boyfriend open hand hit her with enough force to drop her on the ground. That's a quote that the ex-boyfriend said. So that's when she followed him around with a hammer. And so, that makes sense. I don't know.
I'm back on her side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of back on her side. Smear that cream, baby.
Smear it
all over that car.
I'm so confused by the barbecue sauce and whipped cream,
and eggs. I think the barbecue sauce, because barbecue was his favorite food.
Right.
Whipped cream was probably used in the bedroom.
Right. Or vice versa.
Okay.
The hammer was in there too.
You know what I love though? I love to think that for each item, she had to go back inside to the fridge to get it.
You don't think she's carrying all out?
No, the guy's just laying there busted with a hammer.
Maybe he put her fridge in the yard. Maybe it was conveniently there.
Gosh.
That's it.
So he didn't empty it. He pushed it out.
Or her groceries just took them out.
Still plugged in because you don't want the groceries to go bad. Right.
All right. So our next story, we have a Florida teacher from Polk County.
No, this can't be
teacher
good.
Arrested and charged with 4 felonies after they found her stealing money from her grandmother.
Shame.
Yeah, super shame.
Yeah.
So basically, over the course of a couple of years, we'll start at the beginning. She was made power of attorney for her grandmother because her grandmother's health was, kind of going down.
Right.
And so the grandmother didn't have a lot going on as far as finances. Like her monthly bills averaged like $500.
Right.
Nice. And then she would have like $200 to $400 cash that she'd spend on groceries, but it's all cash. As far as this goes, and spending money and things like that. So under $1,000 every month.
Pretty good life.
Well, at one point she decides to sell her house. So she had $80,000 in the bank.
Yep.
Well, then she passes away, in September 2018.
Okay.
And up until this point, there was a co-signer
Yeah.
On the account too, right?
Okay.
Well, this Florida teacher, after the co-signer passed away as well, decided that money was hers. Okay, so she could spend it however she wanted. So the co-spender is out of the picture. So she's the only person that can control the grandmother's money.
Man, to be in this lady's circle when that's happening, that's where you want to be. You don't want to be the lady. You want to be in her circle when she's like, I got a lot of loose cash.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all want to go down to Bevo Brady's?
Well, how did they find out about this though?
Well, so the account had $71,000 in it when this co-signer passed away, and this teacher just starts spending. Okay, there was payments to PayPal, restaurants, Epcot, different stores.
Oh,
gross!
All kinds of stuff. I mean, she just blew through this money in a year. $66,000 she spent in a year, November to November. And so by the end of this time, the grandmother's account had a negative balance of $193. And so all of a sudden she couldn't pay her bills. Her bills were getting rejected. So other families stepped in. They did this whole Polk County Sheriff did this whole sting operation on this. Started investigating it.
Anything with a sting, I'm in.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys want to hear what Grady Judd said about it?
Of course we do.
Well, let's hear it.
This is a quote from Grady Judd.
He's the sheriff of Polk County.
Right. Yeah, he'll never put on body cams.
This suspect is the lowest of the low, betraying the trust of her own grandmother,
She's not
taking advantage of her during a great time of need by completely wiping out her life savings. She's despicable, and she's a teacher on top of it, someone who is entrusted with shaping and molding young minds.
But not old minds.
What an awful role model she is.
Yeah,
I don't think she's the lowest of the low.
I think worse things have happened in Polk County.
I mean, yeah.
To your own grandmother.
But it's awful what she did. She's terrible.
Last episode, there was the family butcher.
Yeah,
I think he may be a little more. If you
guys recall last week's episode,
right?
Somebody, so if you have to
that
choose,
just shows you my good memory. I remember last.
That's it. You're right. I will say this: we do. Yeah, that guy loves a good press conference.
Yes, he does.
So he's like, "What's that? What we got this week?
Somebody
stole some money from their grandma. Yeah, get the press together.
Get the cameras out.
We got to talk about this.
All right, last one we have a Florida man that is thanking Tesla and Elon Musk for saving his life.
Okay.
Here we go. Come on.
So we had a Florida man who was sitting in his Tesla Model 3 at an apartment complex in Jacksonville when a carjacker ran up behind the car, pulled out a gun, and screamed for our victim to get out of the vehicle.
Okay.
Seems like an unsafe space on the outside.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And so the guy in the car was basically yelling, no, I'm not going to get out of the car. He's like, And second thing, this is a Tesla. Like you can't steal a Tesla.
Whoa.
And so there's like obviously a whole lot of things that Tesla has, but one of the things that it does is it has 8 cameras around on the exterior filming. And so this whole thing is caught on video.
Whoa.
Well, it also has this thing where the car can sit on hold, and basically the car is in drive. But at any time, if you hit the gas, like it just goes. Okay, so you don't have to shift gears.
Yeah,
like you don't have to put it from park or anything like that.
Cool.
So, well, when the carjacker looks away for just a split second, okay, the guy guns it.
Smush. Yeah.
Okay, and
Smush Street.
He doesn't smush him, but he's like
he was
gone.
on Smush Street.
Carjacker shoots at him. The bullet hits right behind him, like between the front and rear windows. And so all of this is on video, though. They were able to catch the guy, and he put the video up online on Twitter and was basically calling out Elon Musk and Tesla. And Elon Musk replied to it. It was like, wow. Yeah, that's all he said, though. Was wow. But that was like a big deal.
Time is money, though.
But, they're saying that, the big reason that he couldn't, that he looked down was because he couldn't find a door handle.
Yep. No, they got to pop out.
Yeah, the door handles are like they're embedded into the car. So like,
that's
if
kind
you're
of
a carjacker, you need to know makes and models.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Well, and also too, the newer Teslas, the tail lights turn into submachine guns.
Right. Exactly.
Well, yeah, grenades actually.
Right. So it's
you got to drive away from them.
This guy's lucky he got the older Tesla and just got ran over.
Hey guys,
hello, Josh.
How
Joshua.
are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good, my guy.
Got a letter.
Okay.
This person says, kind of nervous going in for elective surgery, rhinoplasty, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be nervous.
We have a recommendation.
Yeah. So, no, they just said they went to the doctor. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which
Usually
most of the time it is. Yeah.
Right.
And asked if you guys have been to an uncomfortable doctor. And I said,
like some
uncomfortable
weird
doctor?
experiences. Yeah.
yeah, I went to a doctor. And so I wrote back and I was like, I've been to a doctor.
What was your story?
Well, mine was, remember when my ankle was clicking?
Clicking. Okay, like popping.
It was because
Right.
this guy's walking around like the alligator and Captain Hook. Like it was just like,
Yeah, you
click
thought I had
clocking.
tap shoes on, but I was
Right,
like, that's
exactly.
just my clicking. So.
I thought you had a quarter glued to the bottom of your foot.
Sure, is that what old tap shoes are made out of?
Yeah.
I don't know the history.
Yeah.
So I did my little thing on the insurance website,
Right.
and I put foot doctor,
Okay.
and they're like, "Did you mean obviously podiatrist?"
Right. Because
Oh,
your ankle hurt.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the clicking.
For sure.
Right.
So they sent me the paperwork, and on their paperwork it said foot doctor for me, and I was like, "Did they use my thing? I don't want them."
Did they use my Google term?
Yeah. So and then it says like make sure you wear sneakers, and then they give me like the address. So I'm like, well, this is weird.
Make sure you wear sneakers.
I guess comfortable shoes, not like
Okay.
boots, because I usually do the
True.
thigh highs.
Well, that's funny
Right.
because when I went to the doctor, a small print said, "Don't wear boots."
Right.
Okay.
So I see. Okay.
Yeah, they're avoiding the miscommunication.
Yeah.
So my GPS leads me, and you guys will know this spot, north part of town,
Okay.
the mall.
Oh,
Okay.
So my GPS ends there.
not a lot of business
At the
there.
mall.
Not a lot of business there anymore.
Yeah.
When your mall has a putt-putt inside.
Yeah, they're running out of options.
Yeah. And then it says, my GPS says change to the on foot thing.
Oh, to like a mobile.
Yeah.
Get out of your car and walk to this place.
Bingo.
Right.
So I change it and I get out of my car and I walk in the main entrance. And I'm kind of looking down thinking, okay, am I gonna, and I look up and I'm right in front of Foot Locker. And I'm like, what
Okay. That doesn't seem right.
insurance? This insurance company of mine.
Right.
They're really.
Yeah.
Like Joe's Insurance or Admiral Strong Blood's Insurance.
Right.
So, but all of a sudden the door swings open and a guy on crutches walks out. So I'm like, maybe I'm
At a
never-
Foot Locker?
Yeah, there's doors on this one. So, but I look back up because that causes some concern, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I look back up and it doesn't say Foot Locker.
Okay.
There's a D over the L. and there's a T over the K, and it says foot doctor.
So it's what? So your podiatrist is an old Foot Locker.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
now,
like crossed out.
Yeah, and it says like foot doctor, but doctor still kind of sounds spelled weird.
I mean, there's not a lot of
You
yeah.
kind of got to go with your niche.
You
right?
got to go
Right.
to yeah.
So I'm like, I walk in and I'm like, I don't know if I'm in the right spot because I look down, there's still b-ball floor,
Okay.
yeah.
and I look at
sure.
I look at the desk,
Yeah.
and the two like behind the desk, they're wearing ref shirts.
Yeah. So you're like,
So
okay.
I'm like, is this Foot Locker?
It's still up in the air right now.
They're
right
like,
now
can
it
you
is.
read, bro? It's Foot Doctor.
Sorry, I can't. And I'm like, is this right? And they're like, yes, come in. And they're like, why are you here? And I'm like, oh, because my ankle, it's clicking. My insurance
Obviously.
should have sent the
That's such an old man thing.
paperwork.
My ankle won't stop clicking.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to walk peacefully.
That's why you got sent to a mall doctor.
I guess
It's not
so.
a real thing.
I should have said something more serious.
Yeah.
So the nurse is like, okay. And she puts what I would describe as a lavalier microphone around my ankle.
What?
And then she puts headphones on. And she's like, okay, we're going to do some drills so I can hear it better. So I can hear the clicking better.
So the referee / nurse has a microphone on your ankle.
Kind of.
Got it.
I guess a
I just
stethoscope.
want to clarify. Yeah,
They don't make long stethoscopes.
that's true.
I see.
I'm not in the stethoscope
They don't want to put their
business.
head down by your feet.
Thank you.
I
Not-
see what
you-
you're
not
I
saying.
see-
these feet.
okay, I got
not
it
these
now.
feet. Amen.
Amen.
So she grabs the nurse's cart
Right.
and she opens up the little cabinet, pulls out a b-ball, and she's like, hit a fadeaway jumper from the top of the key, would you? And I'm like, I'm sorry.
What is happening?
And she's like, just give me a fadeaway jumper from the top of the key.
uh-huh.
So I do,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And she's like, nice.
Ankles clicking the whole time.
Wow, you
It's
hit
like-
in the first shot.
Oh yeah, come
Yeah.
on, you guys know my b-ball skill.
Yeah.
I hit it first time,
Yeah.
and she's like, nice. She gives me a thumbs up,
Right.
and she points at her headphones.
Sounds like a cool doctor.
Yeah, well, this is the nurse.
Sounds like a cool
It's a
nurse
ref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
at a Foot Locker.
so she's like, okay, now I need now we're gonna pump fake a pass to me, then cross over in the paint, finish it up with a reverse layup, and then get your own rebound this time.
This seems like a kid's camp more than a foot
this is-
doctor.
she's listening
Like
the
a-
whole time,
Basketball camp. Okay.
and she's reading these instructions off a clipboard.
In an
Right.
abandoned mall.
Well, it's not. Yeah. Well, there's other stores there.
I mean, it's not much.
So I do what she says. Obviously,
Right.
I pump fake
Yeah.
a pass to her.
Yeah.
I cross over in the paint.
Yeah.
Then I do a reverse layup.
Right.
Okay.
Naturally.
I make it, and then I get my own rebound.
nothing but net.
Nothing but that. And she's like, nice.
Nice.
Taps her headphones. She's like, nice.
Heard everything.
Yeah, I heard everything I need. She's like, okay, I'll let the doctor know you're here.
Oh, goody.
After that?
After that, yeah.
Yeah. After your
So-
full court press, the doctor's coming in finally?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you were tested, like, as in not to hear what the ankle sounds like, but are you worthy enough to see the doctor?
that could have been
Either
it.
that or you just tried out for like a JV basketball team.
Yeah, that's probably more like
You
it.
think so?
Yeah.
It turns out it was actually just like a sports rehab place. And my insurance had sent me to the wrong spot completely. And they thought I was their like local
Right.
b-ball team.
They usually get athletes.
Street ball, yeah. And I'm flattered.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
they saw
sure.
5'8" me, and they're like, do a crossover, pump fake, reverse layup. And I made it.
And you nail it.
I nail it.
So what was the solution for your clicky ankle?
Oh, doctor's like, I don't have a clue. I don't do this.
Yeah, he's like you should retire.
Foot doctor is more of like just something
It's just a trendy name.
Yeah, I'm
That's a
sports
real
rehab.
doctor.
Yeah.
He said my old job I was breaking people's noses at a plastic surgery.
God, yeah. So it was awkward. It was I had to go to the real foot doctor,
Well, thank God.
podiatrist. Yeah.
Well, now
Yeah.
my doctor's visit is underwhelming.
Yeah, mine
Is-
too.
Is it though?
I mean, yeah, I didn't get tricked into playing basketball in an abandoned mall by probably a fake doctor. Cameron, what was yours?
Mine was okay. I went to a chiropractor.
Sounds gross.
In the mall?
No. Have you ever been to a chiropractor?
No,
Yeah.
I don't
All
believe
right,
in chiropractic.
So I had some issues
Truly.
with my my lower back. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting old. And so somebody suggested going to the chiropractor. My wife told me that's not a real doctor.
That's
and
what
I'm
I
like,
said. And I
That-
got your wife.
I will say it's a real doctor.
Yeah, I believe in them.
Yeah.
Or so I did. And so I went in, and I had never been to one yet.
Right.
Okay. And so I didn't know if I just thought it was a doctor.
Right.
Okay, so I go in, and like the nurse wearing actual
clothes on
He
that.
just did nurse in quotation
nurse
marks.
wearing, they were in nurse clothes, not ref
Well,
clothes. But they, bring me into the room. They sit me down on like a table that had paper on it.
that's
so
how
I
you
feel
know
like I'm
you're
in
in
a normal doctor's office.
Yeah.
And they're like, go ahead and get comfortable, and the doctor will come in just a second.
Is there a comfortable spot on this table?
Well, I sit down, and then after she leaves, I take my clothes off, because that's what you do at a normal doctor's.
The whole time you're back screaming.
Right. Well, I strip down to my underwear, because that's
Okay.
what I've done at my other doctor's appointments.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if I
get
go
it.
get like a physical or something,
This
that's
guy
what's
wants to
happening.
look at your back.
Right.
Well,
100%.
you can't see my back if I
know.
have.
Well,
my
you were in
shirt on.
overalls, I assume.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there ready for my my back, whatever he's going to do,
Yeah.
his observation,
Back slap.
back slap,
Backslap.
and so he comes in and immediately, why are your clothes off?
How is this? You don't think this is the first time?
I thought it was normal.
I feel like as a doctor, he should just play along
right.
to make you not feel bad.
No,
She
he made
says
it
get
super
comfortable.
awkward. I didn't make it awkward at all. I was just sitting in my underwear, but he made it super awkward by saying,
You're the ingredient that makes it uncomfortable.
Dude, the thing about
he's like, I'm going to leave. When I come back, I need your clothes to be fully on.
You've already
Oh
seen
my
the goods.
God. Right.
Just watch me get dressed.
he turned him down.
Obviously, he's not a real doctor, because
not
no
gonna
doctor would like
turn you down.
turn me
Not in
down.
their right mind, they wouldn't.
No,
And
so
we're
I was so embarrassed, I just left.
dude. No, mine's super similar.
What?
Yeah, no,
Doctors' offices and nudity seem to
mine's
be.
really similar. Okay, so I did the same thing. I had a physical.
Yeah.
Right.
And basically, when I first got my old job, this is years ago.
Yeah.
I got my old job, it's a desk job. I had to do a physical to get hired.
Right.
Okay.
And then basically every year you go back, technically, I guess like to recertify to show that you are,
Yeah.
still capable of doing the job.
Yeah.
It's a desk job,
Okay.
right? So there's
Yeah.
not much to it. But they
They're
said,
difficult.
Well,
for
what they
some
said-
people.
Yeah, I know.
well, what they said to
I'm not
me
saying they're
was
not.
go back for your yearly physical,
Right.
to the occupational health.
Mhm.
So I go back there.
Mhm.
And when they send me in the back, I did
Okay.
the same thing. There was a rope
Get
sitting.
comfortable.
There was a rope sitting on the thing.
Oh, there was no robe at mine.
No.
I took my clothes off. I put the robe on.
It's a physical.
I didn't know, by the way, the opening's in the back.
Okay.
So my opening's in the front.
Right.
Different robe or
Yeah.
Wait, okay. But did you leave your underwear on?
it's a physical. It's a physical.
So you
the last
put a
time
robe on.
the last
You-
time I went,
You thought it was a bathrobe where your front is like the normal part.
thank you. Yes,
Okay,
I
hold
did.
I see what you're saying.
You need to describe to female listeners what happens in a male physical.
In a male physical, they check everything to make sure it feels
Right.
normal,
cough, cough.
including you
Yes.
turn your head and cough, including your reproductive organs.
Right.
Okay.
And
And
you
so-
need easy access to those.
And so I assumed I put the robe on
Yeah,
backwards, and
right.
now the front has what I can only
Are you
describe
sitting?
as a tent door.
Are you sitting on the table?
I'm naked.
the slightest breeze.
And I have my robe on, and I'm standing there
yeah.
waiting for the doctor to walk in.
Yeah.
And he walks in.
You look like a trench coat flasher.
Yes. and worse, it was one of those like sliding doors,
Okay.
So he
gosh.
opens a sliding door, looks at me, steps in, slides it shut, and he goes, "Yeah, I just need you to sign right here saying you're still able to work in the current position."
Okay.
And I was
Wow.
like, "We're not redoing a physical," and he was like, "No, you're just certifying that you haven't been hurt on the job this past year,
Oh,
and you're still
God.
able to do the job."
there was no physical.
There's nothing.
You got naked for nothing.
But
Well,
dude, at least my doctor didn't
Hold
call
on.
me
Does
on it.
Does
Well,
it
that's
end there?
true.
Did you get naked for nothing?
He kissed me.
Well, so I this isn't my only story. You guys made me remember a story.
What?
He kissed him. So what? That happens every time you leave the doctor. I don't know what this guy's talking about. He kissed him. Thank you for coming.
big deal.
Right?
Right. Same. Right. Yep.
It's part of the insurance.
Yeah.
So I go this doctor's office.
Yeah. You gave another one?
Yeah. Sorry, you guys reminded me.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to jump back in here
Okay, go.
because it's nudity related.
Yeah.
And I forget what I'm being seen for.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
No, probably
Probably your ankle.
getting something cut off.
Yeah.
So I go in and I get in the thing. I get in the
Of course.
But I get in the normal way.
The
Yeah.
robe.
Yeah.
So your opening's facing the back.
Yeah, I'm back out.
Your
right?
bum is facing
You got
right
it. You got it.
appropriately.
So I'm in there, I'm waiting, and I hear a knock, knock, like you do.
Yeah.
Right.
And someone else walks in, and I'm kind of over in the corner,
Yeah.
and I hear the nurse go, okay, just get that robe on and wait for the doctor. And someone else walks in.
You're already robed up though.
I'm robed up.
Yeah.
They welcomed another person into the
your
room
same room?
to change.
Is there limited space?
I know. No, once they saw me standing in the corner, now like hiding, they go, I'm in the wrong spot. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong spot.
Maybe you're in the wrong.
Did you at least have your robe fully on?
Yeah, I was on.
You should have excused
But that
yourself
was
and just been like, I
bright
need to-
white thighs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Well, those thighs haven't seen sun since the day you were born.
Yeah, since
You were born on the beach.
1963.
Right.
Did you get your kiss though?
Oh, the doctor, yeah, once I left. Yeah, they were like, it's closing time, mwah, mwah, and then they locked the door.
Amen. Arthur Gomez was born October 17th, 1888 in Key West, Florida.
Wow, native born,
Wow.
1888.
So Arthur's family, they had been in Key West since before it was Key West.
What?
Actually.
Okay.
So a little less than 100 years prior,
Yep.
Arthur's grandfather sailed to Key West to start a new life.
Mhm.
But unfortunately for the Gomez family, things never really took off for them. They would work and they would farm, but they just couldn't seem to get a leg up no matter how hard they tried.
Okay.
Yep.
Things weren't ever going well. So when Arthur was born, he was actually told by his family, what you see around here is all you're going to get.
That's not encouraging.
Not at all.
No.
They told him the odds of you making something of yourself are damn near impossible.
You're not a statistician, right? Don't tell me
Right.
the odds.
Right, but that's what they told him. That was a quote, by the way. They swore, not me. So the bad news is Arthur's family was pretty discouraging.
Right.
Yeah,
it sounds like it.
The good news is Arthur had pretty low expectations.
Right.
Okay.
So
who listens to their parents?
right, he's always
right.
happy. So like a lot of farmers in the late 1800s, Arthur and his folks only grew enough for themselves to survive. Because they didn't have the land to grow extra and sell.
I mean, it's an island. It's Key West.
right, exactly.
You only have so much.
Right. So they basically always had $0.
Okay. Wow.
Enough food to survive, but they could not make a living.
Yeah.
Well, at least their family is loving and encouraging.
Right. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
What a home environment. Arthur never went to school. And,
Oh.
and I don't mean that he was like enrolled in school and he never showed up.
Right.
He literally never stepped foot in a school.
Okay. Wow. Anti-school.
Not a big school family. His father told him it was a waste of time.
Okay. Wow.
I have another quote from his dad. His dad said to him, "You don't need to know how to read if all you're going to be doing is planting seeds."
Well, you got to know what you're planting. Amen?
Yeah, what if you
Yeah.
misplant something?
Just eyeballing it and you get a whole crop full of
Manchania.
manchania.
Oh,
Men's-
man. Then you're
Come
in
on.
trouble.
The
De la
devil's fruit.
Muerta.
Not good. So basically, he's told, look, you don't need to read, you don't need to write.
Yeah.
And back then, if we're being honest, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was quite common in poor communities. But the interesting thing was, Arthur was raised at a time in history where things around him were changing rapidly.
Okay.
A railroad was built connecting Key West to mainland Florida. And because of this, there was a huge boost in population and industry.
Mm.
Okay. So
Looking for readers. Got
Right,
any
yeah.
readers down here?
yeah, and everybody's like, huh? So
They can hear. Jesus Christ. Oh,
well, so before, when everyone was universally poor,
Right.
it was tough, but it was just how things were, right? I mean, like no one really had a leg up on anything. But now, in
We're all
addition
in
to
this
that,
together.
right, exactly, you have all sorts of big businesses taking advantage of poor farmers who didn't know how to read.
good
so,
thing things have changed. You know?
Yeah.
right, so railroads, cattlemen, power companies would come in. They would buy people's property from underneath them, and if they were lucky, they would be allowed to work their old land. but most of the time they were just kicked off their own property.
Jeez. Okay.
So that's exactly what happened to Arthur Gomez's family.
Goodness.
Railroad executives bought their small family farm and within a week had kicked them off of it.
What?
So with nowhere to go and no way to make money, Arthur's family literally separated. Their family unit was destroyed. Arthur spent the next 10 years taking random jobs, trying his best to keep food on the table.
This is so sad.
And until he was 21 years old.
Okay.
He didn't really have any steady profession. But when he was 21, he was outside this barber shop in downtown Key West. And
How does he even know that, though?
He didn't know it was a barber shop.
Okay.
He was standing outside. He thought it was a Foot Locker.
Candy shop, right?
Yeah. And so he's standing outside. And the owner of the barbershop hears Arthur telling his story. And he comes outside and goes, look, my dude, if you're willing to work, I'm going to give you a job right here.
Nice.
He basically told him, you don't need to read or write to cut hair.
That's true.
Wow. Sounds just like my dad.
He's like, I'm in. So Arthur Gomez accepts the job. And from that day forward, he told himself that this was his chance. If he was going to basically get out of this hellhole, he was going to be the best barber Key West had ever seen.
Okay. Right now, I'm like going through my brain. Do I know any really famous Floridian barbers?
I don't know any barbers.
No.
We'll see. I could tell. So when it was an easy joke. His hair looks great.
It does look
It
good.
looks really good.
It's nice.
One of the perks of being a barber, at least back in those days, is that's where everyone went to gossip.
Okay, that's true.
That's where people would just talk about stuff. So basically, there's something about sitting in that chair and makes you want to spill like everybody else's information. Like you're just talking about everybody. So Arthur would be cutting hair of not just like the everyday folks, but he's also cutting the hair of all these bigwigs who ran these big businesses that ran him off of his land.
Oh, yeah.
So from the little people, he's hearing stories that are similar to his own. People losing their jobs, losing their property. And then from the executives, he's hearing them bragging about all the money they're making and how well things are going.
Okay.
So imagine
Something
being an
needs to
Arthur.
change.
Right. You're hearing this day in and day out, and you're like, someone's got to do something about this.
Yeah.
That's how Batman's formed. You know what I mean? That's how you make
what I was
supervillains.
thinking.
Like, that's a big deal. So one day after cleaning up shop, Arthur is starting to like talk to his boss and complain about how he feels about the situation. And his boss says to him, if anybody can change things, it's you, but we got to focus in that anger. We got to dial that in.
Wow.
First things first, I'm going to teach you how to read.
Nice.
Okay.
So every day after work, from that point forward, Arthur's boss would sit with him and give him lessons on reading and writing. And within a year, Arthur Gomez knew how to read and write.
Okay.
I get it.
The guy sat with him and was
I
like,
asked for a crew cut. What, you gave me the buzz.
he gave me a bowl cut.
What the hell?
So now Arthur can read and write.
Cool.
And
Finally.
once he knew how to read, this guy was like a brand new man. He couldn't get enough of it. Every day, as soon as he was finished with his job, he would head to the library. He decided this is where he's basically going to live at this point. He wants to read everything. In fact, it became the running joke in Key West amongst the locals that if Arthur Gomez wasn't cutting your hair, he was at the library reading a book. This guy was in two spots. That's all he's ever going to be.
Okay. Man's got to eat.
Right. So one evening, after the last customer had left the barbershop, Arthur dropped a bombshell on his boss. He said, look, I'm going to quit my job cutting hair because I need more time to read.
What?
Okay.
Like he's just going to read professionally?
Well, the boss said the same thing. He said, that's great, man. I'm glad that you're passionate about reading, but you can't just quit your job and do this. And he goes, well, I'm quitting my job because I'm going to study to be a lawyer.
Oh,
okay. Wow.
Okay, that kind of reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in a span of 3 years,
What?
Arthur Gomez learned to read and passed the Florida bar exam.
I
What?
think it takes,
Can you
usually
do
takes
that without
longer.
ever going to school?
Back then you could. All you had to do was pass the bar.
Oh, wow.
So in South Florida, this guy learns how to read from his barbershop manager.
Okay.
And in 3 years' time has studied nothing but law and passes the Florida bar.
That's insane.
I don't get it.
So this guy is a lawyer, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So his goal was to represent all the poor families who felt like they had been disenfranchised by
Wow.
big businesses in Florida and Key West.
Get 'em.
Yep.
I love it.
So a few years go by and Arthur Gomez is practicing law
Jesus.
almost 90% pro bono.
Wow.
What?
This guy, he's making a lot of waves in the community, helping a lot of poor people. He's got a lot of big businesses coming after him. And here's the thing. This guy grew up making no money. He's used to being poor his whole life.
True.
Yeah, so it doesn't bother him.
He wants to be a lawyer just to change people's lives. He doesn't give a crap about the money. So this guy basically is making all these waves. Big companies are now out to get him. So one night after leaving the courthouse, Arthur goes back to the barbershop to hang out because that's what he did. And the old men in the barbershop start telling him the real problem aren't the big businesses. It's the politicians who make the laws that allow these companies to do what they do.
Easy.
Okay.
Specifically, Florida State Senator Big Jim Owens.
Jim Owens
Big
is in this
Jim.
story. Oh gosh.
So
Here we go.
Arthur Gomez decides to do what Arthur Gomez does at this point. He announces his campaign for Senate,
Oh my God.
challenging the 30-year incumbent Big Jim
Wow.
Owens. He's going up against the machine.
BJO.
Right, Big J.O.,
Wow.
right where it counts.
Big J.O. is like, how many years did you go to school?
He's like, this kid just learned how to read 3 years ago.
Right.
That's in his.
You're going to vote for him?
Yeah. So
What a bully.
Senator
He's slamming him in the papers. He only went to school for 2 years.
0 years. Senator Jim Owens is backed by the railroads, the lumber yards, the cattlemen, who, by the way, at the time were actually a gang. I mean, they ran cattle, but they would also kill you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the power plants. So all the big businesses are backing Jim Owens.
Right.
He had more money to throw at this single campaign than Arthur Gomez had ever seen his entire life.
Oh, for sure.
But what he didn't have was Arthur Gomez's spirit and reputation, because Arthur Gomez had spent all this time helping people pro bono.
And his anger.
Yeah, and firing up the little guy.
Yep.
Right. Arthur Gomez spends the next 4 months walking door to door,
Wow.
neighborhood to neighborhood, in every single residential area that his district would cover,
Really?
the entirety of 4 counties.
Oh my God.
This
door to
guy
door
in
in
South
4
Florida,
counties.
also, he couldn't afford to
Love
buy a car,
Of course not.
so he walked.
This is
This is
insanity.
awesome.
He became known as the man who's walking for the Senate.
Good God.
The railroad men wouldn't allow him to take a train because their bosses fully supported the
What?
incumbent Big Jim Owens.
Okay.
Of course.
So Arthur Gomez
Bullies.
campaigned on foot, walking door to door, and in 1930, the citizens of South Florida elected Arthur Gomez to be their new state senator by a
No
landslide.
way.
He defeated Big Jim Owens by a 3-1 margin.
Wow.
Wow.
Arthur Gomez fought for the people of Key West and the surrounding cities for the next 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
And one of his most famous moments in politics happened in the Capitol in Tallahassee,
yeah.
where he gave a speech with so much passion that he had a stroke
What?
on the
Wow.
Capitol floor. He goes home,
Okay.
recuperates,
Okay.
comes back and finishes the speech.
What? I mean,
Okay.
I've had like such a intense shower. I had a nosebleed. In it.
Right.
Right.
So I can relate.
But do you want to know what the speech was about?
Yes.
Showers.
Arthur Gomez basically gave a speech to all the congressmen present
Yeah.
and said, if we're going to send our boys off to war, we should enlist ourselves.
Yeah.
He wanted to
Okay.
introduce a bill
Yep.
that in order to basically ratify a war, they had to
Agreed.
themselves
go.
sign up and go to war.
Agreed.
This guy
I
gave a
love it.
speech so
A
passionate
hundo.
about that he has a stroke on the floor of the Senate.
He's like, I can't go. I had a stroke.
He's like, not me.
I mean, personally.
In fact, I forgot how to read. I don't know how to read. Basically, Arthur Gomez became known
Wow.
once he was elected as the walking senator.
That's amazing.
He held
Goodness.
office until he passed away in his home in Key West in 1952. But until that point, he spent every day of his life fighting for the people of Florida.
Wow.
So
What
the
a
guy,
guy.
talk
Okay.
about like a campaign to run on. Like, I literally have had nothing my entire life.
Right.
I only know how to read because my boss at the barbershop taught me. And then 3 years later, he's a lawyer.
That's insane.
It is
And then
insane.
and the same barbershop goes back and is like, the real problem is Big Jim Owens. And he's like, well, if anybody's going to beat him,
It's going to be.
I guess
me.
I got to
Yeah.
do it.
That's true.
And the guy, when you have nothing to lose, it's easy to run.
Man.
You know?
Talk
So, yeah.
about feeling lazy.
But you look great.
I didn't say anything about my looks.
Well, you can't run or walk for Senate
What?
with a clicky ankle.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
And that's what I'm just saying.
You've seen the
Right.
slam
Episode
poetry about my ankle. It's really discouraging.
Episode 122, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go.
Been around for a little bit. We love you guys. Hey, we're working on something special for you. It's going to be a bonus series available to the public. It is going to be kind of a highlight spotlight about Floridians who are doing special stuff in our state.
We would have done it on this guy if he'd been
Exactly.
around.
If he had been around,
Right.
but similar people who have just really accomplished great things in Florida. We want to bring you some positivity in addition to our regular weekly episodes.
Yes.
So a bonus series. Keep an eye out for that. It'll be launching soon. We love you guys. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for Patreon who's watching
Yeah.
live stream.
My Patreon.
What
God
do we call
bless you guys.
Patreon?
We call them our best friends, Josh.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
See you.